Hello viewers, in this video let's study the embryology, especially the plant embryology. Embryology, its scope and significance and its various branches. Embryology gives us an idea about how does the embryo development occur in higher angiosperms. So the embryo remains in the seed. It is this seed germinates and become into a new individual plant. So embryo development, that is nothing but the study of the structure, growth and development of the embryo of a plants, also termed as plant embryology. Plant embryology. Plant embryology. Plant embryology. We know that flowers are a specialized shoot of the plants, modified shoot of the limited growth. They are exclusively meant for the sexual reproduction. It is through these flowers almost every angiosperms reproduce sexually. All sexually reproducing organisms, they form the gametes, male and then female gametes. Fusion or the fertilization takes place between the two dissimilar different male and then female gamete. The act is known as a fertilization. So after the fertilization, the egg or a female gamete becomes into the zygote. The zygote later on undergo repeated rapid mitotic division and it gives rise to the finally the embryo. The study of the structure, the growth and development of the plant embryo termed as a plant embryology. It is otherwise also termed as developmental botany. Developmental botany. Developmental botany. Developmental botany. Let's take a look about the history of the developmental botany, nothing but the plant embryology. Several workers, they did very hard work in knowing about the growth and development of the embryo in various plants. Several scientists, even they have contributed a lot in understanding about how does the embryo development occur in different plants. So higher angiosperms are further divided into dicotyledons and monocotyledons. They have studied the growth and development of the embryo both the in both the groups of the plants. Actually, the history of the history of the study of the embryology can be traced back to the Aristotle Aristotle time or Aristotle era. Aristotle, Theophrastus, and some Sumerians, Egyptians, they did a lot of work in understanding how does the higher angiosperms they actually produce the fruits and the seeds. So The embryology, the study of the embryology can be traced back to the third century, uh, and thereafter, several years of the time, it was the grew. It was the grew. It was the grew in the year 1682. 1682. For the first time, he discovered or he observed that uh, the anthers are the male organs of the flower. So the embryology and the study of the embryology, that is nothing but the different the scientists or the naturalists, they they began their study of the structure of a flower, and how does the higher angiosperms reproduce sexually with the help of the flowers. Successfully over a period of long time, different workers, they did very hard work, and they discovered the different things. In the year 1682, as I already mentioned, it was the Grew. For the first time, he observed that that is the stamens are the male organs of the flower. And later on in the year 1694, in the year 1694, it was the Camerarius, 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 who also discovered that stamens are the male organs of the plant, and it is the ovary is the female organ of the plant. Without mentioning the sex, means what? Simply he was able to become, he was able to explain, he was become able to explain stamens are the male organs and ovary is the female organ in the year 1694. And later on, so the study of the embryology started in this fashion. That is, year after year, different workers, they have contributed in understanding in various aspect of the study of the embryology. In the year 1761, it was the call reader. It was call reader. Call reader. In the year 1761, he was observed the pollination in flowers by insects. 1761, pollination in flowers, pollination in flowers by insects for the first time. So now we know that different insects play very crucial role in bringing the pollination in various plants, in various higher angiosperms. And later on, in the year 1824, it was the Amici who also observed the growth and development of the pollen tube, which begins from the stigma of the flower. So it was one of the very good the observation. It was in the year 1824, Amici, who observed the growth and development of the pollen tube, growth and development of the pollen tube in the flowers, which begins from the stigmatic surface of the pistil of the flower. So in this way, number of embryologists or the scientists, they have contributed and studied in a detailed way, and they have also published their findings in a different plants, and they have contributed a lot in understanding the understanding that is in the study of the embryology itself. After the Grue, the Camerarius, the Colreiter, and Amici, number of embryologists, and in the year 1837, 1837, 1837, it was the Schleiden, I will write here, S-C-H-E, Schleiden, Schleiden. It was Schleiden who proposed the theory. His theory, it is very famous, known as the theory of the origin of the embryo. The theory of origin of embryo. Theory of origin of embryo in higher angiosperms. Higher angiosperms. Later on, in the year 1849, it was the Hofmeister. 1849. It was Hofmeister. Hofmeister. 1849. It was the Hofmeister who observed the development of embryo within the embryo sac. Within the embryo sac means what? From the cells of the embryo sac. It was this the Hofmeister in the year 1849 who observed the growth and development of the embryo within the embryo sacs. Within the embryo sacs. That is from the cells of embryo sac. From the cells of the embryo sac. He was observed the growth and development of the embryo from the cells of the embryo sac. It was the Hanstein in the year 1870. 1870. 1870. It was the Hanstein. This embryologist have also contributed a lot in understanding the growth and development of the embryo. He was studied a detailed way how exactly the growth and development of the embryo occur in the plant, especially in Capsella, Bursa, Pastorica. Okay, he was observed the development of embryo in Capsella, Bursa, in Capsella, Bursa, Pastorica. The development of embryo. Development of embryo. Hanstein. His contribution, it is very outstanding. And in the year 1884, at another the botanist or embryologist, it was the Strasburger. It was Strasburger in the year 1884, who explained for the first time, that is the syngamy. Syngamy is the process of the fusion of male gamete with that of the female gamete in plants. So, in the year 1884, it was this the Strasburger who proposed the syngamy. Syngamy, that is the fusion of the male gamete and female gamete, the syngamy. Double fertilization and triple fusion is the characteristic feature of all the higher angiosperms. During the sexual reproduction, in all the higher angiosperms, double fertilization takes place. It is followed by the triple fusion. So the fusion of one male gamete with that of the another female gamete, termed as a syngamy, for the first time in the year 1884, it was this the Strasburger who observed the fusion of the male gamete and a female gamete in plants within the embryo sac, within the embryo sac of the ovule of the flower itself. Number of embryologists contributed in understanding the various aspects of the embryology. Not only the Strasburger, not only the Hanstein, and not only the Hofmeister or any other Amici, like that. It is the history of the growth and development of the embryological study gives us an idea that uh, how does uh, the embryological study begins. Okay, embryological study play a very significant role. That means what? The study of the embryology have got a very the scope. Let's uh, understand uh, the scope of the embryology. Now, scope of the embryology means what? The scope of embryology. Scope. The idea of the embryology. How exactly different structures of the flowers, namely the anthers or the pollen grains, the pistil or the gynosium, or the ovule or ovary, and the embryo sac, or different types of the embryo sac, or particular the knowledge of the development of the embryo sac, or the development of the embryo, development of the other structures of a flower, gives us an idea to assign a particular group of the plant to its respective the genera or the family, or a particular the species. So the embryology gives us an idea about the classification of the plants. With the help of the knowledge of the embryology of a plant, we can assign a particular plant to the particular the family, or a particular the species. Okay, so it is one such a the scope of the embryology. Embryological idea also helps us to not only assign a particular plant to its respective family, but also the idea of the knowledge of the embryology of a plant makes us to develop the new plants. Means what? It is very important that embryological knowledge helps us to develop the new variety of the plant. The new variety of the plant means what? This embryological knowledge helps us to develop the new variety of the plant in the field of the plant breeding. A plant breeder, plant breeding, plant breeding is a branch of the botany which deals with the study of the growth and development of, or the development of the new variety of the plants. We can develop the new variety of the plants. During the development of the new variety of the plant, embryology gives us an idea. How does the embryo development occurs in this plant? How exactly it is possible for us to bring the pollination in this plant? Like that, embryological knowledge helps us to develop the new variety of the plant in the field of the plant breeding. In the field of the plant breeding. Not only this, the data, embryological data gives us an idea about the development of uh, development of the artificial seeds in the field of the biotechnology. Artificial seeds are the alternative seeds. Artificial seeds are developed with the help of the embryos, which are produced on the artificially developed nutrient medium during the tissue culture. So, the knowledge of the embryology helps us to develop the artificial seeds, also called the synthetic the seeds. And embryological knowledge of a plant also uh, gives us an idea about, it helps us to um, explain how it is the natural that uh, that is the parthenocarpic fruits are, you know something about the parthenocarpic fruits. Embryology also makes us to it makes us to develop the parthenocarpic fruits parthenocarpic carpic fruits parthenocarpic fruits, like that, parthenocarpic fruits. So the knowledge of the embryology is very essential. It is very interesting. We know that angiosperms develop fruits which contain seeds. Angiosperms are the plants that they develop the seeds which are enclosed by the fruit wall, are called angiosperms. On the other hand, the gymnosperms are the plants which develop the seeds. The seeds in them are naked. The seeds in them does not covered by any fruit wall, are called the gymnosperms. Both the gymnosperms and angiosperms that develop the seeds, these seeds actually contain a embryo. So the embryological knowledge also uh, uh, helps us to study the structure of the seed and uh, the germination of the seed, the germination of the seeds, germination of a seeds, germination of the seeds. Uh, the knowledge of the embryology gives us how exactly uh, the embryo germinates and become into a new seedling, later on into a new plantlet. So the knowledge of the embryology is very important, not only in these different fields, but also this knowledge of the embryology of different groups of the plants or of particular plants makes us easy to understand or to carry out the particular task. Let's move on to study the different branches of the embryology. Different the branches. There are some branches in embryology. The descriptive embryology, descriptive embryology. Then experimental experimental embryology, experimental embryology, and phylogenetic, phylogenetic embryology, embryology. These are the different branches of the embryology of the plants. Plant embryology. Descriptive embryology gives us an idea about how exactly uh, not only the growth and development of the embryo in a plant, but also the structure of the flower, different aspect of the flower, that is the pollens, the pollen grains, the stamens, and the female sex organs, namely the pistil or the gynoecium, its stamen, stigma, stigma style, and then ovary, the structure of the ovule and the ovary, and the that is the later on the embryo sac, the embryo development, then the seed setting, the seed development and seed dispersal, the apomixis, the parthenocopy, like that. That is the descriptive, the embryology. Then experimental embryology, it is at another the branch of the embryology. So nowadays, in the field of the experimental embryology, scientists they have carried out, that is the embryo culture. Embryo culture. It becomes possible for us to develop the new plant directly from the culturing the embryos of the plant. Embryos of the plant. So it is one such a the branch of embryology known as the experimental the embryology. Uh, Paleontologic, phylogenetic embryology gives us an idea about the origin of a particular origin and evolution of a particular plant itself, about its not only the origin means what the evolution, or in other words the phylogenetic aspect of a plant. We can uh, we can understand the phylogenetic aspect of the plant uh, by following the phylogenetic embryological aspect of the plant itself. So I shall stop here and I shall continue in another video about the structure of the flower and different aspect of the flower itself. Thank you.